say what do me do, what pay me pay, what to what share me, what do me pay me che what do. Now say what pay me pay, what do me do, what to what share me, bra me che na yem bon komo.
This schedule to be here today. I think we deserve a round of applause. Okay. Currently, we are all aware that peace in West Africa or in the sub-region is facing a lot of threats. We have what we call the G5, that is Burkina Faso, Chad, Mauritania, Nigeria, and then Niger. These countries are at the receiving end of the spillover of a lot of wars in West Africa. We all remember what has happened in Libya, and even as far as Iraq. These people who were ex-combatants from those conflicts or wars their lives. In the process, the peace of those countries is disturbed. And therefore, in Ghana, when we are talking of sports and peace, or how sports can be used to promote peace, it should be of interest to all of us. And as I said earlier, without peace, no sports or no game can take place. The table tennis has a very interesting history, as we've been told. It was in 1971 that an American, Cohen, and then Zedong, who is a Chinese lady, met at a table tennis competition in Nagoya, Japan. And they became friends. Even though there was political tension between the US and then China, through their friendship, there's what we call in French rapprochement. They were able to bring themselves together and started a peace process. So that process led to the government, the two governments, getting closer, and then the tension went down. The same table tennis was also used to foster peace on the Korean Peninsula. You know the history between North Korea and then South Korea. They are always at loggerheads. But through tennis, they were able to be brought together first in 1991 and then as recently as 2018. So the promotion of sports, especially the table tennis, is not only for health, it equally promotes friendship among people, among nations, among groups. And sports has a unique attribute. It doesn't discriminate. Those who, in sports, we see sports as a unifying factor. Sports is used to bring people together, no matter the gender, no matter the racial background. So in Ghana or in West Africa, the promotion of sports, especially table tennis, should be of interest to us, so that because there are so many things that are fighting against our peace. But the promotion of peace, the methods or the sources that we can use to promote peace are rather limited. So the contribution of table tennis can be something that we must all value and enhance, so that the youths who are mostly used, especially during our political campaigns, to perpetrate violence or instability, if we get them involved in sports or use tennis to bring them together, it will rather secure our fragile peace. If we take countries like Cote d'Ivoire and our neighboring countries, they were having what we are having in Ghana now in terms of peace. That's when that peace was tempered with, it became very difficult for it to be established. It took a long time, and the process is still ongoing. It's therefore important for us to make sure that we protect our peace by nurturing this value in our youth, especially, so that they will see the need to use sports to create friendship, to reduce tension, and also for their own good, for their health. There's even there's also the commercial aspect of sports. We can see that we have given attention to other sports at the expense of these other games that can equally take us to the international scene. So we must celebrate this occasion by renewing our commitment as individuals, as corporate groups, as to what we can do, what supports we can also give to the tennis federation or the Ghana Tennis Association, or any group that is promoting this game, such as the SEC, Safety Communication Consult, is currently doing. When we, as coming from the peace background, I would also like to give you some statistics or some information so that we can see the ramifications or the consequences of having a situation where there's instability. Normally when we hear of these things, we see them as something very remote or far from us. But it's only when it happens that we know that we could have prevented it and kept our peace. The International Organization for Migration, in its flagship World Migration Report 2022, reports that because of COVID and other issues, the number of air passengers globally dropped 60% in 2020 to 1.8 billion, which, if you juxtapose it with the figure of 2019, it was 4.5 billion. 4.5 billion people were traveling in 2019, but it dropped to 1.8 billion. That is the travel. Now let's look at the number of people who have been affected by internal displacement due to disaster, conflict, and violence. That number rose from 40.5 million in 2020 as compared to 31.5 million in 2019. In 2019, people who were affected by conflicts, where the peace was breached, was 31.5 million. But in 2020, it rose to 40.5 million. So you can see the increase. And what are some of the consequences of violence? It brings displacement. It creates what we call IDPs, internally displaced people. It also creates refugees. It affects businesses. It affects people's career. It affects people's education. Children who are in the process of moving from one stage of the educational ladder to the other, because of conflict, they might not be able to do that. No business thrives, no business advances unless those who are in the war industry. And therefore, it is incumbent on all of us to continue supporting this process of making sports, whatever form it takes, especially this table tennis, which has put some nations on the global radar, so that gradually we can use sports to promote peace throughout our country. And I want to end by adding the quotation of the peace laureate Mahatma Gandhi. I think we've all heard of him, from India. It says, if you want to reach real peace in this world, you should start educating children. And I also want to add that if you want to achieve real peace, you should start using sports to unite people. Thank you very much.
To catch the ball, you have to be precise
and you will have a racket to hit the ball. And whilst hitting the ball, you have to think about placement. One, in game situation, you will have to make sure that you hit the ball where your opponent could not reach the ball, and that will earn you your points. All right, so let's see the weight loss and burning of calories. You realize that in table tennis, you have it's a game whereby all your body, mind, from your mind to the feet of your toe is moving, and you have to have well balanced and well coordinated. Moreover, to hit the ball, you need to balance yourself. You have to transfer weight to one side, to the other side, and look the ball to get it more precise. So in doing that, the game is first to reach 11. You have a tactics that you have to develop in order to outwit your other opponent. Now, this opponent also have his style that he want to also beat you, and you have a 9 by 5 feet table that you have to move around. So let's take it that if you have to play each game, it goes up to 7 minutes, and within 7 minutes, if you take it like you are jogging like 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers, you realize that if the more persistent the ball stays on the table, you have to keep running and making sure that you get a point. So that earns you the ability to burn more calories and coordinating all parts of your body. Okay, so let's see how the brain also works. Now you realize that you don't know what table tennis ball, once you hit it to the opponent, there is a creation of spin, and these spins sometimes you have to measure it, because immediately you don't touch it well, you might lose a point. So you don't know what he's doing, and we have a lot of spin that the ball can produce, right from the word service and the field of play. So in service we have like a side spin serve. That side spin serve, we have backhand serve and then forehand serve. And depending upon what the opponent is using, you have to make sure that you are smart to know what it is. So it means you have to really be smart and make sure that you get the ball on the table and get the rally going in order for you to win the point. Okay, so let's see the mental health. Whilst you are trying to win a point, the game is such that you sometimes, depending on time factor, the umpires may say that the game is going to be best out of 3, best out of 5. So you take it like maybe in athletics, that you know that, oh, in athletics I know that within these meters I have this kind of power, I have this kind of speed. That goes through table tennis. So when the game started from 1-1, you don't explore all your powerful mechanics. You try to see what the opponent have in order to keep your brain constrained and make sure that, this guy is better, this guy is not good, okay, I have to make sure I give you 3-0. So whilst you are doing that and you don't know what he is bringing, it gives you the mindset, because you have to read the opponent and he also have to read what you are bringing. So that makes the game so complicated, but you need to be smart and make sure that everything that you are doing, whether you are practicing or you want to win, you still have to be that kind of smart. You have that kind of smartness in order to achieve your aim. So these are a few points I want to dwell upon. So if anybody have any questions to ask about table tennis, I'll be glad to answer him. Okay, thank you.
I think the health benefits, as you just elaborated, are quite welcoming.
Thank you.
But for beginners, those who haven't really started, table tennis, somebody who wants to get started, is there any club or association you would want to recommend as a way of helping them?
You be ahead of competition, and that's right. So I see the smart strategy working out. Then you said you have to study your opponent and then use your mind or your brain to outtrick him and things like that. So Eric, I think that that is the area we can apply what happens around the table to our own businesses and stuff like that. Fortunately, he has been kind to give us all the things he said here, that he said we can run for everybody here. So at least you go and look through it. They can help. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sure, as we go along with you, as the team goes to celebrate the power on the table, and to celebrate the power on the table for peace, we need to get our brand that will give us the refreshment that will empower us to promote peace. So that is why we also appreciate so much to be part of this program. And we are not using Coca-Cola here though, but the brand that we are using here is Shrubs Citrus. This is one of our refreshing and sparkling drinks that we brought to the market last year as one of our innovation, and it's a brand that people love so much, and it's very refreshing when you take it because of its citrus nature. It gives us the power, it gives us the refreshment that even if you want to relate it to sport, you have the energy that you can play and play very well. So as we are here today, we just want to thank you so much. We have our chilled drinks at the back there that we're going to let everybody have a taste of it. That's the Shrubs Citrus for today. And if you want to take home some too, we are at the back there to get some for you. So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be part of this.
All right, wonderful. So that is Schweppes from Coca-Cola. And now we have Lucozade Energy. They have always energized us at such events.
Lucozade has been a restorative beverage for a lot of years. I grew up drinking Lucozade. Anytime I was not well, my mom will buy me Lucozade. So it's been with us and it's still with us. Anytime you want that kick or you want to restore your energy after a day's work, during the day when you think that you need some glucose in the system, you can take Lucozade. Caffeine content is very low, and it's a restorative beverage. You don't drink it to perform. You drink it after you've performed, after you've played your tennis, after you've done any exercise, to just regain to the same level that you were. So it's not like a high energy performance drink. So that's the difference between us and any other energy drinks on the market. We have a new variant called the Lucozade Orange, and that's a refreshment drink. It still has the same base that we have for the original. That is glucose. So our main ingredient is glucose. That is instant energy in the system. So anytime you think about refreshment, you can also think about Lucozade Orange, and that's the variant you have on the market. And the original, our good old Lucozade is still there anytime you need that kick. Thank you very much. And anytime you see us in town, please grab one in the shops, in the supermarkets, the local grocery store in the corner. Everybody has Lucozade now. Thank you very much.
Great. Saving any evil plan against you. So that's what sports does. So when we are talking of peace, as I said earlier, it is like oxygen. It's only when you are suffocating that you know its importance. And what conflict does is that it deprives you of so many things: your plans, your aspirations, and your property, your investments, and everything. When you see a country like Cote d'Ivoire, which is our neighbor to the west, before the conflict came between the two political leaders, President Ouattara and then President Gbagbo, it was a very peaceful country. People were living, they had their life, businesses were thriving, people were very comfortable. The nightlife was sweet, you see a lot of activities going on. But when the conflict came, they ran away and people didn't want to go back. The definition of a refugee, for instance, is somebody who has left his country of origin or of residence, last resident, and is unwilling or unable to go back because of fear of persecution due to race, political association, social groupings, and religion, or so many other things. Okay, so when we are talking of peace, we must all take it seriously, because you have no idea where you find yourself. People left countries that they were very comfortable in, and suddenly they have become destitute. They have no place. I have spent, I've told you, many years on refugee camps, and you see people are giving tents. Somebody was living in a mansion, is not living in a tent. And you depend on the ration from UNHCR, food, small quantity of rice and small oil, and that is all. So it is very easy to start a conflict, but how to end it, it's a long process, and therefore we must all always do whatever we can to make sure that we maintain the peace that we have, because when it is broken, the mistrust sets in, the process becomes very long, and you cannot tell when it will end. Suddenly, people in Ukraine had no idea that today they might find themselves in Poland or any other country. But that's what they are facing now. And as to when they will go back to their country or put their lives back on track again, they can't tell. So it is always important that when we hear the word peace anywhere, we must wake up and think, wow, let me see what they are discussing and what I can contribute towards it. Because when it happens, you cannot tell the effects or the impact it will have on you. And looking at our sub-region, as I said earlier, we have the G5, those countries in the Sahel region, and we have some. Burkina Faso is very close to us, and we see what has been happening there. The jihadists are always targeting one thing or the other. And if you are not following the news, you might never know. You think that everything is peaceful. No, it's not peaceful. Okay, so it is important for us to take the peace issue personal, propagate it, convince other people, influence other people, so that the peace that we are enjoying, that maybe we are taking for granted, doesn't slip through our hands. Because when it does, it is not as easy as we think it is. Thank you very much. So the floor is open for questions or clarifications. Thank you.
My name is Gloria. I work for the Lucozade brand. Today is World Tennis Day, and we're here to support the conference happening at the Tang Palace. Lucozade is a convalescence drink. It's a recovery drink. It's been with us over the years. I grew up drinking Lucozade, and it's still with us. So anytime you need to restore your energy, you drink Lucozade. Lucozade is really low in caffeine. It's not a drink where you drink to perform. It's not a high energy performance drink. You drink it anytime you're low and you need that kick to come back to your normal self. So anytime you see us or you want a drink, you can go to the nearest grocery store, you can go to the petrol mart, you can go to the supermarket. Everybody has Lucozade now. Now we have a new baby, a new fragrance, a new variant. Orange, Lucozade Orange. Anytime you need that refreshment, it still uses the same base for Lucozade. That's the glucose. That's our biggest ingredient, glucose. So anytime you want that refreshment, we have the orange variant, which you would really like. So thank you very much, and anytime you see Restore Your Energy, think about Lucozade. Thank you. Today is International Table Tennis Day, and my name is Gloria. I work with Lucozade, and we are happy to be a part of the Table Tennis Business Strategy Conference happening at the Tang Palace today. And I encourage you all, as the brand Lucozade restores your energy, so are you, to engage yourself in table tennis, because it is healthy, it keeps you going, and anytime you think about Lucozade, think about Restore Your Energy. Thank you.
My name is Godwin Kuada, Program Manager for West Africa Center for Peace Studies. Today being Global Tennis Day or World Tennis Day, I want to salute the effort of Safety Communication Consult for putting up this program to commemorate the day. I want to also encourage other organizations to come on board so that through sports we can protect and preserve our peace.